Hey, I'm back. This is Chandler for Melder Production, and today I'm going to show you how you can do something hopefully that's a little bit interesting. I've always been a fan of ring modulation, but one of the things I didn't like about it is it's oftentimes inharmonic, especially when you're using it with guitar. It's a common guitar effect, and it just sometimes sounds like a broken computer, which sometimes is what you really want, but other times you don't want that. When I started messing around with synthesizers, I found that, you can actually use ring modulation, and when the pitch is tracked, it gives that same metallic sound, but it also has some, harmonics to it, and it's not, just sounding like you're hitting a piece of metal over and over again. So, I didn't know if you could do this or not with plugins, and I found out, actually, you can do this if you use MRingmodulatorMB. So, let's check it out. I'm going to use a guitar for this, but you could theoretically use this for something else like voice, synthesizer, flute, whatever you want. I'll let you hear just my dry guitar sound by itself. So nothing too impressive, but just something small and easy so you can get the idea of what my guitar sounds like without it. So let's open this up. I'm going to use MRingmodulatorMB. We actually need the multi-band version for this. When you open it up, you see this, but we're not going to use this. Let's go into just one band here. I'll turn the phase down. What this will do, the phase will actually put the left and right signals out of phase, which will give you some stereo width, but we don't really need that. I'll open this up too. And I'll let you just hear this. This is just a normal ring modulator. So for those of you that are familiar with ring modulators, you see how this works, and you see the frequency here. I can change this, so 1000 hertz, 200 something, 4000 something. So you can see they all have kind of a different character. But let's see what happens if we change this. So the way we can do this is using one of the modulators. So first I'll just clear and learn, move this all the way down, all the way up, stop, click here to turn it on. Now you see it's being controlled by a LFO. So I could use this, especially if I make it a little bit faster. You'll hear some kind of like weird computer noises. So that can be good. If I turn this up just a little bit here and turn this down, here, if you want like a special effect, you can try this. So that's kind of a cool effect, but that's not really what I want to do here. So let me set these down at 20 hertz and 20,000 hertz, or say 20,000 hertz. Yeah, there we go. Getting confused. But what I do want to use is pitch. So I click here. Now I'm going to open the detector here so I can see everything just a little bit more clearly. And now by doing this, if we look here at the frequency, whenever I hit a note, it will change. So you can see, that's kind of interesting. It almost sounds like the effect's off, but it's actually not. So if I play something a little bit more involved. So you can see it's actually tracking the pitch. It's not perfect, but it's pretty good. And one thing I can do is I can move the stabilization time down, so move a little bit faster and move the speed up also. And this will sometimes get rid of some of the glitching. Of course, it's impossible to get rid of all of it, but I think, does a pretty good job in general. And one thing, you can adjust these things however you like. So one problem you might have is you see here the max recognized. If you go up too high, things will start to become inharmonic again. So let's say if I start on a high E and I move up, I'll let you hear what happens. So as you heard, once I got to that C, B is okay. No problem. But then C, it sounds inharmonic, and that's just because this max recognizes a little bit too low. If I move this up a little bit, let's try like 2000, those last few notes on my fretboard will be okay. I'll start at B again, so B. Ooh, still a little bit off. So I think actually my intonation on my guitar might be a little bit off. That might be another reason why this is happening. But by changing that, you can get slightly more accurate results. So if you're noticing, like when you're playing up high, it's not sounding so good, you can try to adjust that, and you can do the same thing with the speed also. So that's basically how you do it. But you're probably thinking, okay, it's kind of interesting. Sounds almost like a synthesizer, but what else can you do with it? Can you get any other sounds out of it? So another thing you can do is mess with the shift here. So now I just have it at the same pitch I'm playing. So let's try shifting it down an octave, like this. 1 octave. Let's try 2 octaves. Okay. So one other thing I should mention about this is you can't play polyphonically. If you play 2 notes at the same time, it's not going to work. See, it doesn't sound good. It can only track 1 note at a time, but it does give you like almost like a monophonic synthesizer feel. You can also shift it in other ways. So instead of this, I can shift it in semitones. Let's try 7 semitones, which is a perfect 5th, like this. So you can mess with that all you want. You can shift it in Synth if you want, although that's going to make it sound like out of tune. You can also see if you shift it up and you do bends and things, it will somewhat track your bends and vibrato. So you can actually hear, which is actually cool because it still keeps some of those nuances from your playing. Another thing you can do besides that is you can go in here and mess with the actual oscillator shape. So now I have it on a sine wave. Let's try changing to something else, like maybe a rectangle. Actually, like that, it almost sounds like a trumpet. I probably need to filter the top off, but let's try it a little bit less. So mess around with these and see what you find and see if there's anything in here you like. There's a number of things you can do that you'd never even think of doing. Try sine power like this. As I said, you can change the phase too to get a little bit more stereo width. And of course, you can adjust the wet dry if you want to mix it in with something else. In the future, I might do this again and try to do some more different types of synthesizer sounds using some filters too. But hopefully this gives you some ideas of some interesting things you can do with this plugin. And of course, I'm using this with guitar, but feel free to try this with any other instrument and see how it sounds. So, hope you found this interesting. If you did, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't done that, and check out all the other plugins at melderproduction.com. Until next time, see you.